Hey. Hey! Are you seriously zoning out again? Come on, pay attention. Eyes on me. Jeez, and you're the one who asked me to help you study for this test.
Sorry. I was just distracted looking at the sky. Look, it's really pretty.
Stop wasting my time. I'm not here to watch you look at clouds all day.
Sorry. I'll pay attention.
Since you're not taking this seriously yet, how about I quiz you?
A quiz? Now? But I'm not ready!
That's okay. Simply trying to recall information will help you memorize this topic better. Try your best, okay? Then I can help you with the topics you need to work more on. Besides, the test topic is the history of Hope's Peak Academy. You can't be completely ignorant.
You're so disciplined and smart. I wish I was like you.
Question 1. How did Hope's Peak get introduced to the US?
Well...
Hey, put your textbook away! Don't cheat.
Ah!
Just think, okay? Take your time.
I think... The original Hope's Peak always had international acclaim, right? Since they would take foreign students every once in a while, people outside of Japan did know what it was. But it wasn't super big internationally until after the tragedy.
Correct. Keep going. What about the tragedy?
It was bad. A lot of people died. And everything got super messed up, or something.
Getting colder.
There were a lot of bears for some reason.
Can you tell me how this relates to Hope's Peak Academy?
Oh, right. Hope's Peak. Yeah, I totally forgot.
Did you seriously forget what you're studying for that quickly?
Uh-huh. Okay. Let's see. When it was over, Japan rebuilt Hope's Peak Academy. The Ultimates, back then called super high school level students, who graduated from that new school, helped to rebuild the world exactly as it was before the tragedy happened. As everyone had hoped, the world had ultimately changed so little that it was like we could forget the tragedy ever happened.
Good. Keep going.
Oh, am I on the right track? Those graduates of Hope's Peak helped rebuild destroyed cities, restore society, and instill a sense of hope back into the world. Because of that, the entire world admired them. Those young people who were the best of their talents were saviors to everyone. So, the US thought Hope's Peak Academy was super cool and built their own. That way, they could have Ultimates too. And it's not totally the same as the one in Japan, but at its core, it's an academy to foster young people who are the best of the best in their fields. Although, I guess that's where the similarities end. The US Hope's Peak Academy takes in college-age students, and there's 2 of them, and we have this really weird curriculum, and there's a bunch of other things, and...
And?
That's it. That's all I remember.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes?
You absolutely have not studied enough.
Ugh! The test is too soon! There's no way I'll have enough time. I'm totally going to fail.
Relax, okay? Do you remember that saying that goes, study smarter, not harder?
How do I study smarter?
First of all, you need to remember years. Test writers love to ask you for dates. It's a common question to trip up students who didn't study. Remember that we're East Class 27, so that means that Hope's Peak is how many years old?
27 years, right?
Correct. That means that Hope's Peak was founded in this country in 20... And if you encounter a question that asks you to write an essay, just talk about how prestigious and incredible it is to be an ultimate at the best academy in the world. Butter your proctors up, if you know what I mean. I'll eat that right up.
You're so...
Hard-headed? Well, it's what I do.
So cool!
Cool?
Yeah! You're so cool! You know exactly how to take tests in the most efficient way possible! Isn't that cool? You really are a super incredible ultimate student.
Yeah, that's all I'm good for, I suppose. Nothing but a student. In any case, the material you should focus on the most is...
Is there something on your mind? I can't ignore the somber way you sounded right now. Min, it's okay if you tell me.
Sorry. I didn't want to offend you, but I feel like I'm wasting my time doing this.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have bothered you to help me study.
No, I mean, the both of us are wasting our time. Look what our classmates are doing now. They're ultimates too. They're all doing things relevant to their career, if not actually out working. Once they graduate, they'll be more than ready to get a job in their respective fields. And what are we doing? We're preparing you for some stupid high school level history tests that neither of us will remember in a month. Does it actually matter what year Hope's Peak Academy was founded? How is that information going to help any of us in the future?
Min.
I'm sorry. I've been so unsure these days of what I've been doing with my life. In this country, being an ultimate means more than going to Hope's Peak Academy. It's a high mark of prestige that you keep after graduation, a sign that you're going to be the best in your profession that the world has ever seen. But I've got no career path laid out for me. I can't help but compare myself to all my classmates who have real ultimate talents, and wonder what I'm going to do with my life when I graduate.
Hang on. Real ultimate talent? You're the ultimate student! I mean, it's not like you're a lucky student who was picked by lottery. Ultimate student is absolutely a real talent.
No, it's not. Seeing as you aren't very knowledgeable about Hope's Peak, you probably don't know how I got my talent, right? There's a difference between me and every other ultimate.
Huh?
Tell me, what makes someone an ultimate? How are ultimates chosen by Hope's Peak Academy?
The Academy's talent scouting branch finds distinguished high schoolers who have incredible potential and some talent, right?
That's exactly right. That's why I'm not a real ultimate. After all, I was never scouted by the Academy.
I don't quite understand. Then how are you here?
What do you think a student does to be enrolled into a school? I took a test, and I passed. 13 years ago, Hope's Peak Academy announced the ultimate contest for eminent students. I suppose for someone like you who doesn't care much about Hope's Peak and who, no offense, would never be eligible for the contest with such average grades, it's plausible that you wouldn't have heard of it. At the time, the Academy declared that 12 years later, when I would be 17, anyone enrolled in high school at the time who met certain requirements would be eligible to take a test. It was a single comprehensive test that covered all kinds of subjects to be taken across the nation simultaneously by eligible high schoolers, and there was only one chance to take it. Whoever got the highest score on this test nationwide would be awarded the talent of ultimate student and would be able to enroll in the academy when they graduated. I don't quite remember it because I was very young, but my family used to be quite poor. Poor enough that the ultimate contest was nothing more than a blip in the back of my parents' minds. But one day, we were visited by the founder of that big company, XF PureTech. He told my parents that he would sponsor me and pay for all of our expenses. All he asked in return was that in 12 years, I would pass the Academy's test and become the ultimate student. And so I did. That's the story of how I got my talent as the ultimate student.
What?
You may not do very well in school, but you're quite sharp. Judging by the look on your face, you're already starting to suspect that something's off about this story, right?
That's... Min. Why would Hope's Peak announce this contest 12 years before it would actually take place, when all the would-be contestants are just children?
Because they wanted the contest to hang over the heads of kids like me for 12 years, from childhood all the way into high school. They wanted to single out those who were obsessive enough to spend their entire lives preparing for this one test from childhood. I don't know why that man would sponsor some random child, nor why it would be me of all people, and I never had the time nor space to figure out the answer to that question. Failure was not something I even considered, because if I failed, then there would be no future for me or my family. I had simply accepted for my whole life that I would be the ultimate student, and I lived my life accordingly. That's why the Academy chose me. To tell the truth, I doubt I was even the top scorer on that test. I'm sure I did amazingly well, but it seems highly unlikely that I was #1 in the nation in terms of raw scores. I was selected as the ultimate student not because of my academic performance, nor my intelligence, but because I had grown into their ideal of an ultimate student.
What do you mean?
Because of this contest. Because I wanted to win. I'd let my entire life revolve around that one test. My achievement, studying, taking exams, being the top performer in my class. I cut everything else out of my life for that one goal. And that is exactly what they wanted to see. The ultimate contest for eminent students was made for a very specific target audience. Those children who had no talents, who would consider spending their entire lives preparing for one single test for even a chance to become an ultimate. Maybe someone like you who never cared about Hope's Peak wouldn't understand, but it's everyone else's dream to be an ultimate. Being an ultimate means knowing that you're more extraordinary and gifted than anyone else, and knowing that the entire nation trusts you to build their future. In the end, what the Academy wanted wasn't to select the most intelligent student nor the best test taker, but to conduct an experiment to see if someone would force themselves to become the idea of an ultimate for the Academy's sake and succeed.
I see. That's how you got your talent. I am ashamed that I'm only now learning something so important. I'm sorry.
That's exactly why my talent of ultimate student is useless. It only exists because Hope's Peak Academy wants it to. If Hope's Peak never existed, then all my classmates would still have their talents. They would still be athletes and musicians and doctors. But for me, if Hope's Peak never existed, and I never took that test, then I would just be another talentless nobody.
No, I don't agree.
Huh?
You're not nobody. Even if I pretend that you're not an ultimate, and that we're not both students in Hope's Peak Academy, you're still somebody to me.
You're only saying that to make me feel better.
Ultimates aren't everything. As if I'm only friends with you because of your talent. There's more to you than that. We aren't just a collection of walking achievements and accolades and things to necessarily be proud of, but all those small things that make us human. All those little quirks about you that you never noticed or don't think that anyone has noticed. They're what make you so special to me. You're somebody who likes wearing sweaters with oversized sleeves because you feel cozier that way. You're somebody who loves collecting insects, and you don't care if other girls think it's gross. You're somebody who buys fish-shaped pastries and saves the chocolate-filled ones for me because you know that those are my favorite. You're somebody to me, Min. So what if you felt you wasted your life trying to become an ultimate? You're only 18. You have so much of your life ahead of you. You haven't wasted anything, and I'm proud of you for all that you've done, even if you're not. Okay?
I was thinking of saying something embarrassing, but you never laugh at me, so I'm not afraid to say something that embarrassing in front of you. I think I have an idea of what I want to do when I graduate. I think I want to help people somehow, the same way that you're helping me. If I could make others feel the way you make me feel, then maybe I could be happy with myself, and I could forget all about my talent. Maybe I'll become a teacher. I'm not the best at teaching, and I'll never be as good as him, but I want to try.
I'm happy for you, Min.
Okay, that's enough break. Back to studying.
Ah! So soon?
You know what else is soon? Your test on Wednesday. So then, next question.
Wait!
Name all 13 associated universities and give the state they're located in.
Wait! I'm not ready! Ah!